Mahan devotee. Krishna, as he is compared to the sun. He first appeared from the ocean of the womb of Devaki, and gradually he satisfied the inhabitants of the places surrounding Mathura, just as the sun enlivens the lotus flower in the morning. After gradually rising to the meridian of Dwarka, the Lord set like the sun, placing everything in darkness as described by Uddhava. I just get a picture of the sun coming, off the horizon, out of the ocean,
Right.
and the meridian and setting. After that, who wants to be here after Krishna leaves the planet? Can anybody think of any of the nightmares and any of the visions that kings and sages had of the coming Kali Yuga? Can anybody think
So there's the description, I believe, was it a little foggy. The door maybe giving some description of the coming and the bad omens of, jackals howling and different things of this nature.
Belching fire, maybe.
Yes, exactly.
Like that. Owls are actually inauspicious.
Inauspicious.
And comets.
Right.
Are inauspicious. But, like hearing the running of many crowd of men running, and yet there's no one there. That'd be scary to me. And darkness, clouds, dust, just all of these, probably crows and maybe ravens too. But the descriptions are pretty scary. We're 5,000 years into Kali Yuga now, but we are not afraid. Prabhupada was not afraid, and we're holding on to his lotus feet. So, we're not afraid because, we're just holding his hand. Prabhupada said, as long as you're following the principles and everything, the spiritual masters will come around beside you, like arm in arm like that, supporting you, But he said, if you don't chant all of your rounds, and follow the regular principles, then what can I do, What can I do, Like, there's memories of Srila Prabhupada, there's V.V. Puri Maharaj, and the whole DVD, the 26 DVD in the tape, he talks about Srila Prabhupada. And it's very sweet, and I was meditating on this. I've watched it like 3 times in the last couple of days.
Oh, nice.
It's just so nice. And it's just, you get purified just by listening to a pure devotee. So Prabhupada was sharing personal things with him, pretty much. And so I thought, wow, we're getting to hear what Prabhupada said to him, and their exchange like that. And Prabhupada said about him that perhaps you're my only god brother who truly appreciates my humble service to Guru and Gauranga. So I thought that was very sweet. And he's so humble. Just by watching the pure devotee, how he's talking. Wow. You know what I mean? They say that by associating with Vaishnavas, we see our own impurities. We want to make ourselves better. It's so wonderful. But the funny thing is, I had a realization that, okay, that's wonderful. But I was thinking, you know what? Prabhupada is sharing with us also in these purports. He's sharing with us these most high secrets and insights. His Guru Dev is known as the Lion Guru. You got to read everything he did like 3 times and try to understand it. And I didn't notice this before, but recently I noticed Prabhupada said that actually, when I was listening to my Guru, I didn't really understand everything he was saying, but I stayed. I was the last one to leave. And he said, he gave me a compliment that I'm a very good listener. But he said, I didn't always understand everything he was saying. It was so advanced, But I thought, wow, it's amazing, But just by being in the association of a pure devotee is just purifying in itself. Just that transcendental sound vibration. So the translation again is, the personality of Godhead, the all-compassionate controller of both the spiritual and material creations, is unborn, but when there is friction between his peaceful devotees and persons who are in the material modes of nature, it takes birth just like fire, accompanied by the Mahatattva. So Prabhupada says the devotees of the Lord are by nature peaceful because they have no material hankering. Liberated soul has no hankering, and therefore he has no lamentation. So, reading from the 26 qualities of, it's called the Acharya, the book, and it says peaceful, one of the qualities of a Vaishnava. This is from a lecture on Bhagavad Gita. Quote, this is Srila Prabhupada, it is all in Krishna. Prabhupada says, it is all in Krishna. You cannot find peace outside Krishna activities, outside Krishna consciousness. That is not possible. It is all in Krishna. You cannot find peace outside Krishna activities, outside Krishna consciousness. That is not possible. Lecture on Bhagavad Gita, chapter 6, text 13 through 15. Surrender to Krishna. Prabhupada says, I had immense opportunity to indulge in the four principles of sinful life because I was connected with a very aristocratic family. Krishna always saved me, and throughout my whole life, I do not know what is illicit sex, intoxication, meat eating, or gambling. So far my present life is concerned, I do not remember any part of my life when I was forgetful of Krishna. That was in a letter in 1970. Desireless. This is a room conversation in Bombay, 1977. I have gone through the variety of stages of life, so I have got full experience of this material world. I don't want it. That determination is there. Society, family, love, friendship, these nonsense, everything, out. I have tasted. I am no more interested with this material. This is my favorite saying out of this whole book. Indifference to material acquisition. It's the picture where he's looking out, in Vrindavan.
Oh yeah,
That's like my favorite.
I love that too.
It's got to be my favorite picture.
Yeah, it's a special place too. Yeah.
I've only been there once, unfortunately.
Well, that's all it takes.
The funny thing is, this is crazy. I didn't realize it 2 years later, but I was in Oklahoma and I was collecting my own Lakshmi to go. And it was really hard, like I say, $30 days there too. Timur president said, you don't need, I was at Brahmachari, you don't need any Lakshmi to go to India. You know how much I went to India with? I mean, I just took him at his word, And I didn't realize it 2 years later. $7.
Oh, Krishna.
Yeah, that's not a joke. That is the truth.
Wow.
That is the truth. That's how much I trusted the devotees. I just did whatever they said. Just whatever they said. I just did it. My life was really simple. But boy, did I suffer when I got to India. Yeah, I got sick in Vrindavan. I was sick for like 2 weeks. I got sick in Vrindavan. I was sick all in Mayapur. First night there, me and this other brahmachari, who were just bottom of the totem pole, we thought we had enough cow dung for the night. I woke up the next day and it looked like I had measles. I could not believe my face. Mosquitoes had gotten in, and this stuff only lasted half the night. We didn't know. Nobody was taking care of us, I woke up, my face was all like measles.
Wow.
Mosquitoes.
Wow.
And I was already sick. I was already had dysentery, whatever.
Who knows?
There's so many horror stories you hear about,
Yeah, right.
What year was that?
Okay, I missed everything. I missed everything. I should have been there when Prabhupada was passing. Prabhupada wanted all of his disciples there. Especially, why couldn't the devotees go who never saw Prabhupada? I should definitely be there. I know that I'd probably get in the room once, maybe, because I'm way down here. But, you know, oh, I'm sorry, Manaji, when was it? I'm thinking, I'm calculating, you know. So it's either 78 or 79, maybe, you know.
Oh, wow, really?
Yeah. Yeah. I got a lot of things I can tell you, probably. Things I've forgotten.
Right.
Like when they pull your wig off and throw it over a glass partition. Seriously, what am I going to do now? My wig's over there. I can't get in there. You know? Oh, I have so many stories.
Sure.
Well, just like all devotees, we've all done the same thing. You know how it is. And I just love to hear devotees, what the things they've been through, you know. So nice.
It's special. It's all service to. It's all service to Guru and Guru.
Yeah. Well, here it is. This is my favorite saying, my favorite picture, and the favorite saying for me in this book. Indifferent to material acquisition. Vaishnava means one who is able to sit down anywhere, under any conditions, and be happy. He wants only a place to lay down, a little prasadam, and if there is a little service he can do, quote, gladly let me do it for Krishna. That's all. That's in a letter in 1972. Vaishnava means one is able to sit down anywhere, under any conditions, and be happy. He wants only a place to lay down, a little prasadam, and if there's little service he can do, gladly let me do it for Krishna. That's all. Sounds like the devotees here on the farm, really, you know. You know, just need a place to live, you know, render service, and of course prasadam, you know, we all know prasadam. Prabhupada says, all of my, he says devotees, you know. I always think he's going to say disciples, but he usually says, all my devotees have come to me through prasadam. He controls the 6 bad qualities. Therefore, Rupa Goswami, I love enthusiasm. And this, you know, it's good to be, that's the first principle in devotional service, you know. Because I learned it from my holy godbrothers. I learned enthusiasm from them, you know, serving Prabhupada. Before that, I was just wandering around this world. I was researching anything spiritual I could, but I was just wandering around lonely. I didn't know Krishna. I was praying for a spiritual master. I mean, a real spiritual master. I didn't think I'd ever really get one, though, you know. Not a genuine spiritual master, you know. Therefore, Rupa Goswami has introduced this system of regulative principles, which I have taught you also. These regulative principles, such as rising before 4 a.m. for Mangal Arati, chanting 16 rounds minimum on beads daily, reading books, going for street sankirtan, and preaching to anyone and everyone, offering the prasad like that, these principles of devotional service are there to safeguard us from Maya's attack by keeping us always enthusiastic. If we strictly observe these principles, we shall remain always enthusiastic. These are the sources and the maintainers of our enthusiasm to serve Krishna. He mentions it 3 times. For emphasis. You know when he says it 3 times? And look at that. It's in another world. It's from another dimension. Look at that picture. It's just like, it just looks like the garland's on fire, and he just looks so healthy and radiant, and you know, and he doesn't pose for pictures. And yet it looks perfect every time you take a picture of Prabhupada. I mean, he doesn't pose for him. It's just a common irritation, you know what I mean? And when they said, Prabhupada, can we do a biography, right? Of your life and everything. Oh, there's no need for that, Prabhupada said. Oh, but Prabhupada, people in the future are going to want to know how the movement got started and how it prospered and all these things. So they convinced him, you know, so, okay. If you wish, you know, because he's thinking, well, I'm serving the devotees, that's what they wish, so, you know. That's why he translated the Chaitanya Charitamrita. a devotee is expert. Srila Prabhupada says, a devotee is expert. This means that he is willing to do anything. He does not say because he is a Brahmana, he cannot do a menial task. This is from Vaishnava Behavior of the 26 Qualities of a Devotee by Sansrit Das Goswami, page 197. Silent. What does it mean that the devotee sometimes speaks and sometimes is silent? Srila Prabhupada, it means he is not obliged. From Vaishnava Behavior and the 26 Qualities of the Devotee. Okay. I understand, I think, what he means. When somebody says something to you, then they expect you to answer. But it's just like Puri Maharaj said, you never really know. It's difficult to describe what a pure devotee is. It's hard to understand what's in his mind, what's in his heart, and it's just hard to understand a pure devotee. Because they asked him to make some comments about the first time he met Srila Prabhupada, like that, and so he didn't answer right away. That's a case where, he'd be obliged to answer, but he would actually ponder. And ponder, he was not really obliged to answer. Of course, he is a pure devotee. Only a real person, this is from Srimad Bhagavatam, only a real person who has adopted complete, unalloyed devotional service to Krishna can uproot the weeds of sinful actions with no possibility that they will revive. He can do this simply by discharging devotional service, just as the sun can immediately dissipate fog by its rays. So that's really nice, Even if you're a Christian, and say you really do want to make it so that you're not adding to the sins that you're putting on the shoulders of Jesus Christ, then right here it says, only a real person who has adopted the complete, unalloyed devotional service to Krishna can uproot the weeds of sinful actions with no possibility that they will revive. He can do this simply by discharging devotional service, just as the sun can immediately dissipate fog by its rays. A pure devotee probably said when he feels the warm rays of the sun, he feels the warm embrace of Krishna and Krishna's warm embrace. Imagine what it's like for pure devotees. Everything they do, everything they're thinking, they can see that everyone is serving Krishna. And of course, we know, that the highest position is that he considers everyone is serving Krishna much better than me. And Prabhupada says even Srimati Radharani feels that way, that everyone is serving Krishna better than me, which is very amazing. Anybody have any comments or questions?
Just on the statement you just made about this sense of, feeling, the gopis or Srimati Radharani feeling inadequate in their service, or in a sense, kind of falling short. But in the ever increasing bliss and the ever increasing service, it's like if you feel like you're perfected in something, then you stop trying harder. And so it's actually the perfect system, because it's always feeling. And so then I remember, I believe this is with maybe Rupa or Sanatana Goswami, and it gives the analogy of you're trying to clean a piece of white cloth, and it's got some stains on it, and as you're cleaning it, the stains, you wash away some of it, but there's other stains that become more evident because of the clarity of the whiteness of what you have cleaned, but then these other spots are showing. And so there's and you continue to clean, but you realize there's always still some, so there's that sense of I must always keep trying. I should always be fearful of being in Maya, so I have to constantly take shelter of Krishna and, and to serve him, to try to perfect my service and serve his devotees, and not feel that I'm advanced, that I shouldn't be serving the devotees and so forth. So I think it's a very important point, that we have to just feel like, who are we to, and if we should just be grateful that we even have an opportunity, let alone think that we're somebody big or whatever the case might be. We should always feel like, no, we're just, even if I can take the garbage out, I should just feel so grateful to be able to do that.
Yeah, that new sannyasi, he asked, well, Srila Prabhupada, what do I do now? Young sannyasi, new sannyasi. Just do the needful. Just look at me, watch what I do. Whatever needs to be done, just do it.
Right, exactly. It's actually when we first came to Gita Nagari, a devotee there, and he's now back up in Boston, Muktavanya. I don't know if you would know him by chance. But
I don't get around much.
Yeah. But anyways, Muktavanya would tell me, he'd say, we just do the needful. Yeah. We just do the needful, whatever that is. It's the garbage today, it's go milk the cows tomorrow. We just do the needful. You know, so.
Whatever is favorable for devotional service, we accept it.
Right.
Whatever is not favorable, well, we reject that.
Right.
But whatever is favorable for devotional service, of course. Like you say, it's common sense, you know. It's, talk about a personal movement. I mean, this is the very definition of, personal. Probably something about, this is a certain theology. I forgot the exact word he used, but it's the most personal religious system that there is, of course. You know, and you know, so many other religions, you might be partially happy, but you're not completely happy. Because things are not perfectly the 1,000-piece puzzle. There's always going to be some pieces missing. Even though you find pieces from other puzzles, you don't realize they're from other puzzles, but wow, it looks like it could fit. But you realize, no, wait a minute, there's discord here. Something's wrong. Lost in translation. But anyway, so with Prabhupada's books, and of course we all pray that, you know, they'll stay, won't be changed, you know. That's scary to think even that. But Prabhupada says, when he was told that time, what will you do when you leave, you know? He said, I shall never die. Immediately he said, I will never die. I will live forever in my books. Immediately he responded, you know. People are always asking that question, are you going to appoint somebody when you leave, you know? Like that, you know? Puri Maharaj covers that also in that DVD. Fayette says that's his favorite DVD. You know, because Puri Maharaj covers complicated subjects, you know. Like when Prabhupada left, what happened, things like that, you know. And it's just like Puri Maharaj is there, whoa, you're blowing my mind here. Puri Maharaj, you're saying it just exactly, wow, it makes perfect sense what you're saying, you know. Because he was talking to Prabhupada, this is what's going to happen after you leave, you know. This is what's going to happen, you know. And he was right, you know. So, but anyway, we don't focus on the negative. We reject what's not favorable for devotional service. We focus on the positive. And that's all we can pray for and hope for and pray to Krishna. Because as Prabhupada told Puri Maharaj, he said, what can I do? I have done my job. Now it's up to Krishna. What can I do? Because he told him, he said, he covered the Ritik thing, you know. He said, you've selected 11 gurus. He said, Prabhupada said, I've selected 11 Ritiks, you know. And so it's interesting, he covered that. And he said, but when you leave, it will be gurus. That's exactly what happened. You know? I don't want to get into any of that, but it's just he covered it. I was like,